Hello, listeners! PG here with a preview of this month's Spoilers Club, where we take a deep dive into iconic or impactful escape rooms. The creators join us to share exclusive, behind-the-scenes commentary and insights about their games. Treasure Island is the third iteration of a game originally called Tiki Palace and then Tiki Time before settling into its final form, located at Brain Games in San Pedro, California. Game designer Brian Corbitt joins us, and his candid honesty here is really refreshing and frankly, very relatable. He talks about mistakes that were made and also gives practical tips and a real look at installing an escape room. In this clip, he talks about the original plan for the finale puzzle and why he decided against it. Brian is most well known for the raunchy, actor-driven game Miss Jezebel. And he also talks about how that game completely changed his design philosophy. He also gives us a preview of the new game he's working on. I really appreciated the amount of fanfare that you put into the treasure chest opening with the lights dimming and all of the smoke and everything. This is everything I want and expect in my mind when a treasure chest opens.
Well, it's fun because that definitely wasn't the original design going into this final puzzle. The original design was actually going to be an audio puzzle that would have different pirate shanties being sung through different mediums. We would have like a conch shell that would have a speaker inside, so you'd have to put it up to your ear and that would play one of the lyrics of the shanty. And then you would be able to put all these different items, like a little phonograph would play another, a radio would play another, so on and so forth, throughout the entire game. The reason why we didn't end up doing this one, and we had even 3D printed the conch shell and everything. We were trying to figure out how to get everything installed, all the tech installed, and how to make it as solid as possible and rechargeable. The main issue that I came across was it's the final puzzle, and if we had spread out all of those items throughout the entire game, which was the original plan, then some players might have missed the ending. We wanted everyone to be sort of grouped around for the end. And if we had spread out all the shanties and everything like that, it wouldn't have happened that way at all.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You don't want them to miss that grand finale.
But I spent an entire month just listening to pirate shanties, trying to figure out how to properly make my own and put it into this game.
I feel like you've probably wasted time on worse things.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
But I mean, honestly though, Brian, I appreciate that you are kind of a perfectionist a lot of times when it comes to these things. You want to make games that delight and surprise, It's funny because a lot of times David will be like, there are some creators out there that don't care about making money. And I'm not saying that you don't care about that, but I think you care more about putting money.
Otherwise, I would have spent what I spent on that room.
But it's clear from playing this game that what you care about is putting a smile on your players' faces.
And that actually came about from Jezebel, honestly. Before that, all the games that I had made, Krampus, Galaxy Quest, the Tiki Time, Tiki Palace, to the Psycho game, the spaceship game that were originally there, everyone always came out sort of like, oh, yeah, that was great. That was fun. Yeah, whatever, But then Jezebel came along, and people were coming out of breath, laughing their asses off. And it was something that I hadn't really seen in my games before. And I was like, God, how do I capture this magic again? And that's when I stopped really trying to design puzzles and just design experiences that were more entertaining, more thematic to what I felt like players would enjoy, and to just be silly about it all.
I think that's exactly where you should be living. You're addicted to the laughter, but I think that's really a crucial turning point that you recognize that and you decided to embrace it. And I know that you are working on a new game. I think you have dove headfirst into this new design philosophy. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about the new game that you're designing out in Florida?
It'll be called Goodmill. Going to be themed after a Goodwill thrift store, which was a dumb idea, by the way. Let me tell you what. Okay. This is why it's a dumb idea. I didn't really fully think about how much junk is in a thrift store. And when you think about that, then you're like, okay, now make puzzles out of all of it. And now that's what I'm sitting here trying to do. I'm trying to make puzzles. I just the other day, I turned a fax machine into a lockbox. How do you do that? Right? I'm trying to reprogram old office phones so that they're doing something different. I had to find security hangers for clothing and then figure out how to keep the clothing on the hangers so that players weren't just making a huge mess. And I found the solution, don't get me wrong, but then I had to hang up every single piece of clothes and then lock it in place on that hanger using the little studs. So, yeah.
But I think a thrift store is actually a really smart backdrop for an escape room. You can tap into the nostalgia factor with a lot of things, old toys, different clothing styles. You can hit the nostalgia from different eras and it'll all make sense because they all end up in thrift stores. Yeah. Brian is constantly showing us some new kind of joke items that you're making, which I can't wait to see them all. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and it's definitely something different. I don't think I've ever played an escape room that's been set in a thrift store before. Listen to the rest of the episode now by becoming a patron at the Search Win level for access to all of the Spoilers Club episodes. To join, visit patreon.com/roomescapeartist, and for more details on the different escape rooms that we've covered, visit roomescapeartist.com and search under the podcast tab for Spoilers Club.